In a foot race, Cincinnati plays this across. Vasquez with the finish. Brandon Vasquez gives Cincinnati the 2-1 lead. A late breakdown by Red Bull, and Cincinnati with an advantage for the first time this afternoon. And who else but the man who scored 18 times in the regular season, his first playoff goal.
I think they're dreaming in Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati, couple spoons to start their life in MLS, but a massive first performance in the 2022 Audi MLS Cup Playoffs. Winners, comeback winners at Red Bull Arena. Brandon Vasquez with the game winner, Lucho Acosta from the spot. The Red Bulls had the lead. They could not hold on to it. The curse of curricula continues because their goal scorer, their best player, Lewis Morgan, scores a banger, gets hurt, goes off injured. Since he comes back, they now have a match with Philadelphia Union on Thursday to prepare for. Welcome to the postgame show. We'll be the pregame for you as well as we guide you into LA Galaxy-Nashville on this first day of the MLS postseason. I'm Andrew Wiebe, Charlie Davies, Calen Carr, Matt Doyle with me. Let's start it with you, Charlie. First impressions, Cincinnati in their first run out in the playoffs gets the job done. You knew they were going to take punches, but you knew they would punch back, and they got one late.
Yeah, and it was all about resilience. They go down a goal, but they never gave up. It was a big help that Lewis Morgan, who's the X factor for the Red Bulls, goes out off injured after scoring a goal, which was kind of peculiar because you're just thinking, where did that injury occur throughout the game? But ultimately, they got back in the game, and it was the game-changing substitution of Sergio Santos. Not too many people were thinking Sergio Santos was going to come into this game and really make a difference, but he did because of his pace, because of his ability to get in behind, stretch opponents, his strength. And then Brandon Vasquez, 18 goals throughout the year, comes up big. His run in behind Aaron Long. Aaron Long looked like he was sleeping on that play. Not good enough from him, especially given, the expectations for a national team defender, not to let Brandon Vasquez get behind him in that instance. And you could see, guides it home, sets his feet well, opens his hips, keeps the ball down low, gets it past Coronel, and that was the game-breaking goal.
Doyle, you've had these experiences as a supporter at one point in your life, and now as an analyst. What is this for the Red Bulls? We know what it means to Cincinnati. They're going.
Yeah, well, first I have to correct you on something. The curse of curricula died in 2013. It wasn't an MLS Cup curse. It was a trophy curse. So when the Red Bulls won their first supporter shield, that's where the curse of curricula died. This is the curse of energy drink soccer. Okay, this is what we've seen for almost a decade now, where the brand of soccer that the Red Bulls play, which is very little possession, all 50-50s at midfield, it has a ceiling, Wiebe. Like, it works really well in the regular season where teams take more risks, where they play more open, where the energy and intensity level fluctuates up and down a little more than the playoffs, because you get to the playoffs, everybody's dialed in. Everybody's going to empty the tank. You're going to come up against teams like Cincinnati where you have a manager in Pat Noonan who makes a really tough call in subbing out Brenner, who's been so good this year, for Sergio Santos, who's a much different type of striker. And there's no answer for that from the Red Bulls. So this is just baked into who the Red Bulls are now. They fail in the playoffs year after year after year because they don't have any ability to exert control of the game. It has to be chaos at all times. Let me just finish this, Charlie. And the thing is, we've seen other teams in the league play energy drink soccer. The Union play energy drink soccer, but it's not all chaos with them. When they need to exert control, they can do it. Go ahead, Charlie.
And I would add to exactly what you just said, which was brilliant, Doyle. You could energy drink soccer, but you need to have quality in the midfield. Go back to that 2018 team. Go back to 2015-16. Sasha Kleshin, Dax McCarty, midfielders who are comfortable on the ball, who can take the sting out of the game, who can get on the ball and dribble out of pressure and also connect passes. This is just, you don't want to watch this. Yeah. Who would show up to watch that? It's like they're allergic to the ball.
Yep.
Credit to Pat Noonan. His subs changed the game. Credit to Vasquez. His goal won the game for FC Cincinnati. They're moving on. They get the Philadelphia Union on Thursday. We'll go to Chester for that match. We have David Goss at Red Bull Arena today for us, so stay tuned here. Pat Noonan and Brandon Vasquez will be in front of the mic with us. We've also got the pregame show ahead of Nashville's visit to LA Galaxy. Some big news there. Gary Smith will not coach in that mess. He is not in California. He fell ill, does not have COVID. They say not in health and safety protocol, but he stayed home. So Steve Guppy will coach Nashville SC in their first-round playoff match against the Galaxy. Susanna Collins will be with us from LA, so that'll be some fun stuff. Then you can stay right here on MLSsoccer.com and the MLS app as we go into that game. You'll have the world feed for that one. Then we'll have the playoff post-game show after day one. Wrap it all up for you. Look ahead to tomorrow. Of course, round one continues on Sunday and Monday as well. Okay, let's dig in more to this result at Red Bull Arena. And we've sort of given New York the stick a little bit. The style of play hurts you. I want to flip it a little bit, Calen, and go to Cincinnati. What they were able to accomplish this year and on this day. This is sort of, we joke, they're playing with house money. Well, house money is coming up navy blue and orange right now.
Yeah, I mean, big for them because it wasn't the same Cincinnati team that we've seen in the past where you have the, dynamic end-to-end stuff. There weren't a ton of huge opportunities for the Red Bull. I thought they were able to be pretty get behind the ball and sort of limit chances, except for that one long opportunity that Lewis Morgan just absolutely crushes. But they weren't also able to create anything, and credit Red Bull for that. I think the way they started the match, as I mentioned, really was going their direction. But I thought it was a really courageous sub in the sense from Pat Noonan to take out his leading goal scorer and to take out Brenner, who was not good on the day. He was largely invisible through large stretches of this match, and Sergio Santos hasn't really been an impact player since his signing coming over from Philadelphia Union. But one thing he does do is he does ask some questions. He really turned around this back line, was able to stretch the field, cause some problems. And then Vasquez, who was largely on his own for the most of the first half, trying to hold up play, stays, waits his chance, and takes it very well. The way he adjusts his feet in the box in that ball where it comes across was really nice work, and put it away.
Got to give credit, Doyle, to Pat in this game. Calen mentioned it. Brenner, not the player we've seen for the second half of the season. Not every coach would be willing to get out the hook there. And he went quick. And then credit to Chris Albright for trading for Sergio Santos this year and giving him that tool as well. Yeah,
I think the Sergio Santos trade was almost for the opposite of this. Like, since he has had trouble finishing games off all year long, and Santos is one of the best defensive forwards in the league. So I think they picked up Santos to help see out the final 10 minutes of games when they're up 2-1 or 1-0, as opposed to what we saw in this game where he came in 1-0 down and he completely stood it on his head. So it turned out to be I don't care how much they had to trade for him. I don't care what his salary is. If the man helped you get your first ever playoff win, that's a good trade. That's a really good trade. That's a really good substitution. The other thing about it is that when we go back, and I'm going to look through all the second spectrum data and all the tracking data from this game, everything that Cincy did was tilted towards the left, towards the Red Bull right side, because Gerhard Struber did something in this. We talked about it on the pregame. He put Andres Reyes, who's a center back, in at right back in a back four today. Ostensibly, it was, I think, to match up with Brandon Vasquez and make it more difficult for Vasquez to deal with the defense and bring down those long balls and, initiate sequences of attack off of his hold-up play. Vasquez just went out to the other side. Vasquez just went up against John Tolkien and Sean Nealis instead. And so Reyes was left defending in space 1v1 or sometimes, defending 2v2 with the right-sided winger. It was mostly Omir Fernandez against Lucho Acosta, Brenner, Barrio when he overlapped, and eventually Sergio Santos. And if you go look at the equalizing goal, that came off of Andres Reyes trying to defend in space multiple times. First, he doesn't cut out a big switch. Then he commits a foul. Then he commits a penalty. It just keeps happening again and again and again. So you have to credit Pat Noonan for doing the smart, simple thing. And on the flip side, you have to wonder what Gerhard Struber was thinking when it obviously was not working, his gambit, and it really came back to haunt this team.
Charlie, there have been times this year where people have wondered, will the magic run out for Brandon Vasquez? Is what we're seeing from Brandon Vasquez sort of a spurt or something consistent, something he can sustain long term? He didn't have always the biggest moments in this match, but when the moment came, he was right for it. When the run presented himself, he went full speed and found his opportunity. This is not yet the cherry on top. There could be more, but this is a huge moment in that young career.
It is. When you look at Brandon Vasquez and his work throughout it's building off of each match, his runs, his movement, his passing. And I've talked to him around keeping possession and making the smart decision, not trying the killer pass every single time, because he struck up a good partnership with Brenner, with Lucho Acosta, and making sure that, it was a triangle and being unselfish, being selfish at the right moments. It's been a growth process for him. This is his first year of playing consistently as the starting striker, and it's been brilliant from that standpoint. What I love about the game today is, how Red Bulls play. It's crazy. They try and condense the field. They suffocate your midfielders. They don't allow you to get on the ball and create a lot of chances. But when you do get that one chance, and it shows with his run, the commitment to beat Aaron Long to the spot. He showed, I want it more than you do, and I'm going to get to that spot before you do. And when I do, all strikers, you get that one opportunity. You make it count. Execute. He did that. This, for me, is another step in the right direction. This is going to give him the confidence for when you're looking over the course of 90 minutes, it could go bad for 89, 90, make it count. And he did that. I'm super proud of how he's been able to carry himself throughout the season, not getting the national team call-ups when you expect to, not letting that bring him down, and just using that as more fuel and producing. And that's what you're doing in the playoffs. Big moment for the kid. I'm excited for him.
Incredible highs for Brandon Vasquez. Incredible highs for FC Cincinnati. They go on the road in their very first playoff match. They win 2-1. To Chester, they will go on Thursday to face the Union. A massive opportunity for them there. A massive day for Brandon Vasquez. David Goss is in Harrison for us today. Here is David with the hero of the hour.
Brandon, let's start with this. Walk me through what you saw. Santos going down the sideline. How did you see that goal come together and the finish?
Yeah, they played a ball to Sergio, and it escaped him a little bit, but Sergio's a dog. He fought, he got there, and he put me a perfect ball on the penalty spot, and I finished it away. So, yeah, it was all Sergio's work right there.
Your mindset as that ball comes across, what are you thinking about?
Hitting the back of the net, just making good contact with the ball, putting it on target. That's exactly what I did.
It was a quiet first half. Then they score. You guys came back. Goal called off. What is it about this team that's able to overcome?
Oh, the fight we have is unbelievable, and you can tell the squad we never give up until the whistle's blown, and we came back tonight, and what a game we had.
You think about 12 months ago, sitting at home watching the playoffs. You're not scoring goals in MLS yet. How did you get to this point, and what are you thinking about when that final whistle blows?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to get an opportunity from these coaches, for them trusting in me. And I'm so damn proud of this group. The work we put in today is not taken for granted.
Philly, Thursday, what do you think?
We got it. We've done it before. We can do it again. We're ready.
Enjoy the pancakes.
Thank you.
Another day of pancakes for Brandon Vasquez. If you don't know, that is his pregame meal. Worked out pretty well for him. You've got a noon Eastern game. Pancakes, natural, go straight to that. Let's talk a little bit of the referee calls in this game, because it isn't just the Brandon Vasquez goal that allowed FC Cincinnati to come back. There's a few moments here that sort of stacked upon themselves that allowed them to come back after the Red Bulls went up, 1-0. The first is a goal that was called back. Jeff Cameron thinks he has the equalizer, was not to be, in the end, offside, as you see the play. Here you have the shot come in. Deflection. We weren't sure initially. Alex Schillitz, the referee, allowed this call to stand on the field. But, Charlie, this is why you have video review. You can go back, take a closer look.
Yeah. I was going to say, and this is why we have instant replay. We would call this straight down the middle, easy peasy. Jeff Cameron is coming back from behind the back line. It deflects off of him. Easy offside call. Great job by the VAR official on this one.
This is a big one, though. It's 1-0, 60th minute. What happens now? Well, FC Cincinnati are pitching, 72nd minute. Here it comes. Okay, smart play here from Lucho Acosta. Not the right play, however, Doyle from Reyes. This was a moment where you could see the guilt I felt on his face immediately. When he starts wagging his finger like that, you know that he got a piece.
Yeah, you knew he got him. And given how the game had been called, every time Luquinhas got touched, he was earning a foul call in Cincinnati. So when Barreal got into the same spot, he did what Luquinhas did, and you got to give credit to the ref, right? He called it even. He called the same fouls for both teams. The difference was this one was in the box.
Here, Lucho steps up, scores it 1-1. This is after the substitution of Yuya Kubo, who took a free kick quickly on this play to help set it up, as well as Sergio Santos. FC Cincinnati goes on to win. A massive, massive result from that. We'll give you the lineups and everything you need to know about Galaxy-Nashville here in just a little bit. We're waiting for that one to kick off. Of course, 2 MVP candidates going down in that one. You can watch right here on MLSsoccer.com and the MLS app. It's also on Univision, as well as TUDN, and we're here. Yeah, get excited, Charlie. That's a fun one. But we've got that first result already in the books. Can I bring something up here before we switch gears? What happened with Lewis Morgan? When he scores, the Red Bulls win. He scores, but in the celebrations, perhaps before he's injured, he has to immediately come off, head in hands, and that was the moment, Calen, that you sort of felt like things were shifting.
Oh. I mean, it was really tough to say because we were watching along and saying, well, did he get hurt in the celebrations? Because the celebrations, he didn't do anything. We didn't see any kind of crazy backflips, or it was pretty understated, actually. And so it was confusing to see him immediately come off. And so we looked back a couple times through the replays to see if there was anything in there, or if somebody jumping on him. But it looked pretty innocuous. But you can tell right there by his face that the disappointment, but the finish there was, class. And we've seen this from him throughout the season, his 15th goal in here today. And he was the one that Red Bull was really relying on when we said, where are the goals going to come from? And I think when he came off, they lost that punch going forward, that ability to really carry the ball or find those spots or really come up with a moment of magic, because you always knew that FC Cincinnati was going to make a push. They started to. Coronel, I thought, did quite well in goal to keep a couple of them, had the big chance from Brenner that he makes the good save on. But without that sort of ability to, one, control the ball through possession, and then without your best striker or attacker to be able to get a second goal, that really started to change and flip the equation in favor of FC Cincinnati. And as they pushed on, and then were actually able to go to their bench, that's where you see Santos and really some of that depth come into the field, where Red Bull really didn't seem to have any answers to change the game or even to get better control of it if they weren't going to have that.
There's never a plan B, Calen. And the thing is, a lot of these kids can play. Like, you watch Danny Edelman play with the U20s, he can ball. You watch Frankie Amaya, even when he was in Cincinnati, when they were Wooden Spoon team, Frankie Amaya can ball. They have the ability to be a team that uses the ball in central midfield, can kill a game. I'm not sure they have anybody who could carve it open, but they can certainly exert control on the game. But it's just not. It's not part of how they're coached. They're so committed to the bit that it just destroys them. It's
on the second goal. They take a quick throw in. They're literally it's tied. Kyle Duncan takes a quick throw in to Edelman, and they're not quite ready, and goes right down the other way. Brandon Vasquez scores.
And if you look at the way they're set up on that play, Edelman has no other choice but to try to play it directly back to Duncan, because there's nobody in support around him. It's 12 years now that the Red Bulls have gone to the playoffs, have not made it further than the conference semifinals. That's incredible for a team that has had as much talent. And obviously it's a very different generation from 2015 to now than 2014 to 2010. I understand that. But they have to rethink their game model, because this year they doubled down on the whole Red Bull heavy metal soccer, energy drink soccer thing. And to me, that's headed in the wrong direction. We have enough data now, whether they have Bradley Wright Phillips and Sasha Kleshin and Dax McCarty, or whether they have the guys that they put on the field today, it doesn't get you far in the playoffs. And that's what the fans want.
It's the same season for the Red Bulls. Introspection, evaluation, wondering if what they're doing is enough. Throughout their history in MLS, it has not been enough to get them to where they want to go. No MLS Cup yet again for the Red Bulls, but that is still in play for FC Cincinnati. In the last 3 years, it would have been crazy to say that. But here comes Chris Albright to change the culture. Here comes Pat Noonan to be the manager. David Goss caught up with Noonan at Red Bull Arena.
All right. That was entertaining. That was fun. Quiet first half. I talked to Brandon a bit about it. You go behind, the goal called off. What is it about this team in the second half to overcome those difficulties?
I haven't been in these moments before and finding ways to succeed when things weren't perfect and, getting behind, finding some composure and, understanding that we have a group, whether it's the starters, the guys that are coming in that can make a difference and change the outcome of the game. And I think, the guys that started the game, even though the first half wasn't pretty, I almost think the goal helped us to play a little bit because up until that point it was too chaotic and we just lacked the composure on the ball. But guys that came in made a difference and, the group is strong and that's why we're talking right now about a win.
Sergio Santos comes in mid-season. You obviously know him from Philly. It's been up and down for him here. Is this what you expect from him?
It is. He's a difference maker. Whether he's starting or coming off, he just has a unique quality that with his speed, he can cause a lot of problems. And you saw it on the goal, his ability to create separation, but also the composure to find the right pass and Brandon's commitment to get in front of goal. It was impressive, and it was a good finish to a nice sequence there.
I asked you pregame, now your thoughts? What does a playoff win mean year one for you guys?
It was a step up from last week in getting into the playoffs, and now we're here. We know what it looks like. It feels like to win. All right, let's see if we can keep that going.
You're going to have to watch a lot of tape. Philly next game. What do you think about that matchup with Jim?
I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Having worked with Jim, he's going to have them motivated, knowing those players. They're going to be ready, and it's going to be very difficult. We're going to have to be really sharp in every aspect of the game if we want to find success and a win.
Well, congratulations today. Enjoy it.
To the city of brotherly love, they go Chester on Thursday. Union will host the number 1 seed, the number 5 seed, FC Cincinnati 2-1 winners at Red Bull Arena. They continue on in their very first MLS postseason. I mentioned the city of brotherly love. Some brothers involved here, at least brothers in arms, because look, Chris Albright, Pat Noonan were part of that successful turnaround in Philly. They've taken that magic to Cincinnati. This is one of those sort of mouth-watering matchups we were hoping we might get. Charlie, first thoughts? Union, FC Cincinnati. This should be a fun one.
Should be a great one. Chris, Pat Noonan, straight off the Philly organization, and you know exactly how they're going to try and get at this Union team. Try and force them to break you down. Although the Union have figured out different ways to win games. They are aggressive, just like the Red Bulls. They can turn things over, but Daniel Gazdag has been one of those players who can now get on the end of crosses, get into the box with late runs, be a facilitator, play out wide. You have Kai Wagner who's whipping balls in from the left side, up and down. And then they starting to find their strikers with Mikael Ura and Julian Carranza, both players who I don't necessarily think, especially Carranza, to come out and be such a game changer in creating goals with the assists, scoring goals. This Union team is well-rounded, is as well-rounded as you get right now in Major League Soccer. So it's going to be a difficult task. Now, having said that, Cincinnati have played them strong twice. I expect this one to be a very, very good one to watch.
Charlie, is your buddy Ali going to be 100% fit for this game?
He's working on it.
They missed him. So the last couple weeks of the season, Ali Bedoya, he missed the game in Charlotte. Then he came on for, I think, the final 15 minutes of decision day. With him out of the – he's such an underappreciated player. With him out of the lineup, they just were not able to advance the ball up the right side of the field. And if you look at how they play – this Union team, they get both fullbacks forward. They create so much danger from that right side when Ali's out there. They had no answer without him when he was hurt.
All right. We'll look forward to that one. But look, Thursday, that's a long way away. We have 5 more games in the first round before we get there. Of course, coming up here in just a little bit, Nashville's visit to LA, the Galaxy back in the playoffs after a little bit of a break for them. Chicharito, Ricky Puig, stands starting to fill up there, and Carson should be a really fun one. Who won't be there? Well, Gary Smith will not be there. He fell ill. We wish the best to Gary. He is back in Nashville if the Galaxy lose. Nashville coming and pull the upset, the 5 seed. He will head to LA because the next matchup, whoever wins this game, is the number 1 seed in the West, LAFC, waiting on the other side. Can't wait. Coverage of this one. You can keep it right here. English language feed right here. Univision and Tudian. We have the lineups. Calen, we've got the Galaxy, and it's the same one that you saw on decision day. Chicharito, Grandsir, Puig, Costa, Delgado, Brugman have been huge in that midfield. Edwards, Caceres, who came in that transfer window, a veteran, the Uruguay national, Koulibaly, Araujo, and Jonathan Bond. What do you think of this 11 for Greg Vanney?
Yeah, that's what we expected. I think, this team, though, is completely changed over the last 10 games of the season, and that's due to Puig and Brugman coming in and really solidifying that middle of midfield. They have been able to control games, grab the ball. Puig is always a willing option. Brugman has given them stability and some balance, but Puig really has been the one that has connected the dots. His combination play is always willingness to get on it, his ability to find the killer pass, and then even at times finish them himself. But last week, you saw it with Chicharito and Puig, just a little layoff from Chicharito, and then Puig finds him back through. They are in form. I think two of probably the best combination right now between two players as far as understanding and movement and the way these two are playing. So I think as you look towards Nashville, that middle and midfield, trying to starve Puig of having time and space on the ball is going to be massive today to be able to really disrupt the play of the Galaxy and keep the ball away from Chicharito because he's red hot right now.
What changed for Chicharito, Charlie? Is it simple as having Puig in the midfield, giving him more freedom to make those runs, understanding that when he makes the right runs, that slide rule pass is going to be there? Between him and Gonzalo Higuain, those are the 2 best 9s in this league over the past 2 or 3 months, by far.
Easy decision for LA Galaxy. When you have a player like Ricky Puig who can come in and bring that type of experience and quality to the side, one answer, and it really comes down to service. Chicharito thrives on service. When there's ball, when Ricky Puig can play to the left, can play to the right, can also play underneath and support Chicharito and his creative runs, and is on the same wavelength as far as how you think, how you move, where's the soft spots. That is the difference maker. Ricky Puig has really given this side quality, but I don't want to take away from Brugman because he's been quality because they had to shore up the midfield defensively. Now he plays alongside Delgado. Delgado's more of an 8. Brugman more of a 6. But that has made the midfield that much more secure. And then Caceres coming in the middle with Koulibaly. The backline has always been suspect. Always. Now, he's only started 5 games. But of those 5, 2 wins, 2 draws, only 1 loss. Those 3 players have really taken LA Galaxy to a whole nother level. Ricky Puig being the one to really supply Chicharito and get the attack really working on all cylinders.
Look, set piece is still a question for the LA Galaxy. They'll have to deal with Beast on the other side. Nashville with Zimmerman, with Romney, with Jack Mayer. Doyle, take us through this lineup here, a 5-man back line for the Coyotes.
Yeah, the 5-man back line is just about as expected. I do wonder if Mayer will be on the right and Zimmerman will be in the middle of that back line. The 2 fullbacks or wingbacks really in Lovitz and Moore get really involved. Lovitz more in possession, more overlapping and whipping balls into the box. The front line with Mukhtar playing off of Teal Bunbury. Teal's hot right now. He's putting the ball in the back of the net, and he's a guy who's never been super consistent, but when he gets on a scoring run, he can be really, really dangerous, especially on the counter. And it's pretty clear that Nashville, they're in Carson to counter. They're in Carson to absorb and break. What is shocking about this back 5 is that Anibal Godoy and Dax McCarty are both on the bench. Todd Nunga and Sean Davis are starting deep in central midfield. Those are both good players, but they're functional. Neither of them can hit the type of pass that can break open a game. Dax can do that. He's so good at hitting those third line passes, splitting defenders to hit third line passes to feet in the pockets of space. And then Godoy is so good at hitting long diagonal switches, picking out those wing backs, getting them into space so they can create danger on the run. So I'm not sure if Godoy and Dax have been benched. I'm not sure if this is an injury thing. I'm not sure if this is a strategic, let's get it to 60th minute when it's 0-0, and then we'll bring those two guys on because they're old and we have to save their legs type of thing. But that to me is, if it's that last one, that is a massive gamble for Gary Smith, who he's not there, but he's calling the shots. It's a massive gamble for him to make.
Yeah, Doyle, I was surprised to see that as well. I think one reason it might be is, take a little bit more of a defensive posture going on the road. And then also because you have the unique luxury of the MVP. Yeah. And when you look at Nashville, they have been able to create opportunities really at times just with Hani, and then alongside CJ Sapong at times, and now Teal Bunbury. But he has been able to often on his own be a 1-2 man fast break, go in the other direction, set pieces, creating I think he had 11 assists, 23 goals, won the Golden Boot. He has been tremendous this season. Had a fantastic season last year, has really leveled up even again this season. And he's accounted for 44% of Nashville's goals. So that's how important he has been to his team. And when it comes to playoff time, 4 out of the 5 games, he's got 4 goals in 5 matches in the playoffs too. So tested already at this level and coming in red hot in form. So he will be massive. If they have any chance of getting through and making a deep run in the playoffs, it's going to go through Hani.
There's a reason why he was my MVP vote. When he's on, when he is able to get in the open field, Nashville has a chance. They score goals. They make it difficult. Here is your starting 11. David Goss was at Red Bull Arena for us. Guess who got to go to California? Susanna Collins in the building in Carson has more on this massive match in the first day of the MLS Cup playoffs.
Thanks, guys. Well, I would say I'm coming to you from sunny Los Angeles, but as you can see, it is a little bit overcast here today. In fact, it was actually raining this morning, which feels very strange for this city, but that is not going to stop the good vibes here at Dignity Health Sports Park. This is their first home playoff game for the Galaxy in 6 years, and also the first time that we will see Chicharito in the playoffs. So there is a lot on the line for the LA Galaxy today. Nashville SC, this is interesting. This is a team that's very evenly matched with the Galaxy this year. They both finished on 50 points. They both have MVP finalists, and Hani Mukhtar and Chicharito. But last year, the story for the Galaxy was how good they were at home. This year, they have been road warriors, 7 wins away from home. And I had a chance to catch up with goalkeeper Joe Willis about the confidence that this team has heading into the playoffs. All right, Joe, Nashville's 3rd season in MLS and 3rd consecutive playoff appearance. What are the vibes heading into this matchup against the Galaxy?
Confidence. We've been here before. We've proven that we can win on the road in difficult places. We've got a lot of guys with playoff experience and winning games in the playoffs, so we're really confident right now.
You talk about winning on the road. Last year, your kind of mojo was winning at home, but this year you guys have clocked 7 wins away from home. Why do you think that's been the case?
It's hard to say. I think that's something we pinpointed at the beginning of the year as something we wanted to be better at, and sometimes the results at home didn't go our way, so we knew coming into the season we'd have a long road stretch to start the season while we waited for the stadium to be built. So we wanted to get off on the right foot, and that kind of just spilled over into the rest of the season.
When you look at this LA Galaxy attack, names like Chicharito, Ricky Pooch, how do you guys contain that?
There's no denying it that they have a lot of good attacking players. But we've also had a really good defense for 3 years now. So we need to stick to what we do best, and that's stay compact, stay organized, and make it difficult to break us down.
Well, you yourself are coming off a historic performance on decision day, 14 saves. As we know, in these one-off playoff games, it can come down to PKs, Joe. How much has that been a part of your preparation?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we think about, something that I think about personally. But, we'd like to end the game before then and not let it get to that point. But it's definitely something that's on the back of your mind.
Good luck today, Joe. Appreciate the time. Thank you. Well, guys, I also have some news out of Nashville SC. Apparently, Gary Smith is unwell. He did not travel with the team to Los Angeles. So Steve Guppy is going to be in charge of the squad today. If they do win today, I was told that Gary will join the team later this week, but no Gary Smith on the sidelines. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I will just note the only other match that Steve Guppy has managed was the first match against FC Dallas after MLS is back in 2020. So there is this experience in the books. We'll talk about that more in just a second. But Gerhard Struber is at the dais at Red Bull Arena. Let's take a listen to what he has to say after another Red Bull playoff exit.
From the match plan, from the mindset, from the mental story, in all direction, I can see a group of players. They was very close. They invest everything, but in the end, you cannot go for a second in a relaxing moment, and or you are not clear enough to clear the ball. Yeah, and I think, this is hard, but this is the reality at the moment, and we have to learn. We have to learn. We have to grow. In moments like that, it's not easy, but this is the reality.
Thanks, Rudiger.
Coach, it seems that the game was pretty even up until Lewis Morgan's goal. He was pulled, of course, with an injury. Can you explain a little bit what was that injury? And as a follow-up question, what happened to the team after that? It seems that there was no answer for Cincinnati's pressing. Was it something that the team was doing, or was it something that was lacking on your side to try to get back in the game?
I think he has a groin injury. He must go immediately out after his super shoot, what he did, but he cannot play longer. And in this direction, we was in some moments a little bit from the mental standpoint a little bit overloaded. How we create after a lead the next moment for us, and I think. We can see also that Luki struggle a little bit with his hand and get the big hit against them, and I think they play hard, but on a fair level. But they bring us a little bit out of control with some successful infights, and we struggle in this moment, and we have not so a good setup. Always against the ball, but the most of the time they don't realize something. I think this was more a mental topic for the one or other player, and in these moments we was not so proactive like before. But we fight back. We hold in the end. The mistakes, what we did, I think, that Santos can run so easily, and can pass so easily inside, or how we create the penalty. I think these learnings. I think this is hard to realize, but the boy group is young, and this is for the whole team hard, but we can see this. The group is learning, is a development group, and these are so the reasons why you cannot.
A young group, says
the momentum.
Gerhard Struber, just not enough. Pointed to the mistakes they made. Well, that's over for the Red Bulls. It's now on to Galaxy-Nashville to finish up day one of the Audi 2022 MLS Cup Playoffs. You can stay right here to watch the game on MLSsoccer.com or the MLS app. We'll be back with a post-game show at the conclusion of action in Carson. Unimas Turien Univision as well for this match. That's where you can watch it if you're more into the Spanish language side. We have cable to fire up on your television. Of course, look, you can just stream us over your phone and push your TV too. You can figure that out. Technology is not so hard, folks. I promise you. But Gary Smith's going to need some technology today. Charlie, because he is not in Carson. He is not with the team. Susanna told us, as reporters have told us before this match, including Michele Giannone, he did not travel. He is sick, not in health and safety protocol. He will travel tomorrow if they do indeed win this game as the 5 seed and move on to face LAFC. Quickly from you, Charlie, how does this affect what Nashville are doing today, if at all? Are we just a note? Are you perhaps muted?
I am muted. I had these the lawnmower outside and it was super loud, so I muted it.
It's a brilliant point that you made. I know it was brilliant.
It was brilliant. I said it's not going to change whatsoever. Gary Smith knows exactly how this team is going to play. He's obviously communicated it to the squad. They're going to line up defensively. It's right there in front of you. They're going to defend. They're going to look to play on the counter and transition, get Hani Mukhtar isolated, let him go to work, and then set pieces. Expect for them to try and capitalize on set pieces. But I'm expecting in this match the good old boring Nashville of old. Just defend and look for Teal in behind. Look for Teal to try and create some mismatches with his speed, and then maybe there's a late run from Leal, and then you're really relying on Hani Mukhtar to create those magic moments.
We're closing in on game time here. About 5 minutes until we throw you to coverage on the world feed, or you head on over to Univision or TUDN. Doyle, we've got to dig in more on Riqui Puig. He might be the best player in Major League Soccer right now. No, that's not hyperbole.
No, it's not. And what he does better than anybody else is just connect progressive passes, whether it's in transition or possession. And a lot of it comes from the movement of Chicharito. Even when he's not passing to Chicharito, Chicharito's movement is so good. He drags defenders around. He opens up chances for the other guys, especially the wingers, which is what you're about to see here. And Puig, of course, is good enough to put it on a dime no matter what the pattern of play is. The question is, can those LA Galaxy wingers put the ball in the back of the net? They have not been very good at that. It looks like it's Grandsir and Douglas Costa starting on the flanks of that 4-3-3. They will get chances because Chicharito's movement is so good and so dangerous, and Puig is such a wizard out there. He's going to tee them up. They have to finish the job. They have not done that all year long.
What a special player he is. Watch out when he gets the ball at his feet. I had an unnamed MLS player, let's say, text me after a match of Puig and say, this guy is an alien, an absolute alien. Now, Calen Brugman's a little bit more understandable, his style of play, but he might be just as crucial as Puig to the success of this team. He's brought steel to that midfield and protects the back line.
Yeah, and he's also chipped in with some goals as well. He's had a couple. He's not brought in to do so, but he can get forward and find the right pass, or long. He can hit a ball quite well. We saw Lewis Morgan do that in the first match. But yeah, I think it really will be the strength of this team is now up the spine, and specifically around Puig and Brugman. Chicharito is going to need that. I think Grandsir and Costa are more of decoys. I think they'd like it to be the other way than the way Doyle's diagram drew it up, where they're drawing attention to the other guys and the ball ends up at Chicharito.
Hey, if you're a defender, who you going with? Are you going with Chicharito or are you going with Grandsir? Come on now.
Yeah, but that's where Puig makes the difference in a different ways, because if you drop off him too much, and at times we even saw in the last match against Houston, Chicharito draws every number in the box, and then the cutback is on to Puig, who's now coming in as a late runner and was able to put that one away. So just adding a little bit more options and someone who can control the game. Now, if you're Nashville, you have to get close to Puig at all times. You have to keep an eye on him throughout the entire match, because if you can pick him off in certain points and turn him over, and you get that, suddenly you're going against that Galaxy back line that is fragile, that has improved, but still has issues and will give up goals. So that's where they got to turn around when you look at a Sean Davis or an Anunga, Leal, these guys, to really start to create some numerical advantages in that middle of midfield and get bodies close to Puig.
No doubt.
The only thing is Leal is not a defensive player, right? So you have Davis and Anunga, and Davis, I'd argue, is more of an 8. I know he can play 6, but he doesn't have the legs to cover that ground in terms of the pace to do it. Anunga is solely a defensive player, not going to give you much in the attacking half of the game. So I think it's going to be very difficult for that midfield, the way it's set up right there, to clog it up and make it near impossible for Puig to get on the ball.
All right, we got 1 minute left. You're going to go to Univision, TUDN, or you're going to stay right here if you're watching our show on MLSsoccer.com or the MLS app. You know what that means, Doyle. You can't escape. It's predictions time. Don't give me much. Just give me a result. That's what matters in the end. Who is it?
Yeah, that is Nashville's way of doing it this time of year. Look, I picked them to go to the final, and I was confident in that. I'm much less confident in that without Dax and Godoy in central midfield.
Nervous.
I mean, I still have. I have to stand by my pick.
I'm sorry. You said Nashville. You can't. Nope. There's only a minute left. You can't justify it. Charlie, give me your pick.
Yeah, I chose Nashville in my bracket, but now looking at this lineup, I'm going Galaxy.
Honey, Mook's the MVP from the start. You gotta be kidding me, guys. Don't jump off now. I'm sticking with Nashville.
All right. 10 seconds until game time. Go. Univision, TUDN.
Make a pick, Wiebe.
We'll see.
Make your pick.
You know it. Enjoy the game, folks.
All right.